When I first walked into ECS 210, I didn't know what to expect at all. I didn't know what this class was going to be about. I was journaling throughout this semester of ECS 210, and I quote myself. I said, I figured curriculum was just following what the government laid out and for us teachers to teach it. After this class, however, I've discovered it's not. So I'm going to take you through, some of the places that I found where curriculum is, to me, where I believe curriculum essentially resides in my life, and where it has always been, but I've never realized it until this class. Curriculum is here. So at home, the students, everybody learns constantly at home, whether, your home is with your parents, whether you feel your home is with your grandparents. Everyone has a home. In a home where I grew up with parents and 3 younger siblings, we were constantly learning from one another. Since I was the oldest, I would learn from my mom and my dad, more so my mom. But, my younger siblings, I feel as though they were learning from me. To my baby sister, I was always hoping to be the good role model for her. What we learn at home is reflected in the person that we become. Curriculum is here. The country, the wide open spaces, the Saskatchewan land. Everyone learns from the world. If teachers don't want to relate their taught subjects to the outside world, then how are the students supposed to learn from that? Curriculum is here. The gym. Team sports happen usually in a gym, whether it's basketball, volleyball, soccer. They're all team sports, and everyone learns from them. You learn who you work well with. You learn where to shoot. You learn how to shoot. You learn how to shoot a basketball. You learn how to serve a volleyball. Curriculum is such a big deal in the gym, in team sports, in what people enjoy doing. Curriculum is here. In the classroom. Curriculum happens, of course, in the classroom. It's not just a government-based document. The teachers mold it and shape it to themselves and, put their beliefs into it so that the students might, believe the same thing. They might learn to like the same thing, they might not. The technology in the classroom is another thing. But, it's also dampering education. I guess I can go on a rant about, technology. What I've kind of learned, what I've realized through different encounters over the semester is that, we can't, technology is great. We need to embrace technology. That's perfect. That's perfectly fine. But at the same time, what happens to real life thinking? Just the other day, my dad and I were in my old school. We were in the canteen, and he gave a $20 bill to one student, and the student had to make change since the amount only came to $14.50. The student couldn't make change or was unsure how to, and Dad had to, 2 quarters makes 15. You count up. You put change, you count up. 2 quarters makes 15, and another 5 makes 20. The student didn't know how to do that. An old teacher who taught me was standing nearby and said, they don't have to do that anymore. They don't have to memorize anything because technology does it for them. And it made me think, why are we getting rid of memorizing? But is technology changing it for the worst? Curriculum is here. The hallway. That's where student interaction happens. I grew up in a school that was K-12. There was so much interaction with the students, and that's where, students learn from one another as well. And the teachers would walk among you, and you'd interact with them. You'd have great relationships with the teachers. So essentially what I'm saying is, curriculum's everywhere, as you may not have noticed. And I just spun it off into what I believe curriculum is. And, from day one, when I first said, I only thought curriculum was an educated, made piece of paper, a big booklet full of pieces of papers that you were supposed to follow as a teacher, and that you were supposed to teach your kids only that. only what was written on those pages. But really, everybody, even when you're out of high school or out of university, you're learning constantly. And those are just 5 places where one learns. And that made me realize, I learned constantly. I say that word quite a bit. And it's kind of sad because it makes me almost, miss how I was taught when I hear that. So I'm just wondering, what's going to happen when I get out to the school? They can't. It's not